Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, then I'm so happy to meet you. If not, then welcome back. It has been quite a while since my last video and I wanted to quickly just explain why that is. So, not long before Christmas, my grandmother passed away. We were very close. If you see the little figurine of a horse back there, she got me that. But so I decided just to take a complete break. I haven't really been on social media or anything like that. And I did have a post up on YouTube about it as well. But I just wanted to let you know why I haven't been doing videos and that I am back now. I have loads of different videos planned for this year, lots of content to come. So as always, please subscribe to my channel. Give this video a big thumbs up if you like the sound of it. Turn on your notifications bell and you will get notified every time I have a new upload. And if you find this video helpful or you find it interesting, please share it with people who you think might also get something from it. So, I think, oh yeah, Happy New Year. Of course, I haven't been on since the New Year, so Happy New Year. I hope everyone had a nice festive period. I hope you all have loads of resolutions and that you're sticking to them. For January we all kind of stick to them. After that then we fade away a little bit. But getting into today's video, as you can tell by the title of today's video, I've been looking at ABA in Irish schools. Now before I begin, I have other videos on my channel on ABA explaining everything about it, why it's harmful. So if you haven't watched them, I think it might be helpful to watch them before you watch this video or after you watch this video, just to understand it a little bit more if you don't know anything about ABA. So ABA stands for Applied Behavioural Analysis. It is very widely used. I don't think I realised just how much it was used in Irish schools until I started researching it. When people ask about ABA or mention ABA, what I always think is that at its core, what it wants to do is change autistic people, change autistic children, change autistic adults, students, and that is obviously a huge issue. And I always think that that's what's at the core of ABA and other therapies, methods, practices related to ABA. So the first thing I did was I went through a list of special schools on, I think it was on gov.ie, and it gave a list of all of them in the country. So I went through a majority of them. A lot of them didn't have websites, or a lot of them didn't have much information on their websites, but there was a number of them that did have information straight away. ABA. It was so apparent that ABA was used in these schools, which I found quite surprising that it was so out there that it was ABA. One school I seen which was really concerning was that their SNAs had just trained to be BCBAs, behavioural, not 100% sure if I have that right, if that's the name of it, but where they're trained in ABA, and like they had like the photo up with their certificates, and that was one thing I was like a bit concerned about, obviously. And it's not the only school I've seen that on. Obviously I'm not going to name schools, I'm not going to go down that road because I don't think it'll be too helpful, plus I don't want a solicitor's letter or something. But yeah, the websites, the schools that did have websites and did talk about the methods or practices they used, ABA came up again and again and again. So ABA is harmful to students, and as I said, I have other videos talking about that, and you will find so many autistic content creators, YouTubers, who will talk about ABA. There are, I suppose you could say, diluted versions of ABA, or I think it's almost like giving ABA a new name, giving ABA different names, and some of them include PBS, PECS, and TEACH, TEACCH. So I have written down what all of them stand for. I am going to have to read it probably. So PECS is Picture Exchange Communication System. PBS is Positive Behaviour Support, and teaches treatment and education of autistic and related communication handicapped children. That's a bit of a mouthful. Also, find that insulting, but we keep going. So I researched them individually, and I think I will do videos talking in detail about them individually because there's a lot to them. But when I read about them, they were all linked to ABA. They were all linked to the same sort of belief of changing the autistic behaviour. So whether that's reducing stimming, reducing the way autistic people are, the traits that autistic people have, and different ways within those across the board that is done. Is one thing which came up a lot and is a little bit scary, is ignoring autistic children and withholding maybe food or toys from autistic children, or withholding breaks from autistic children. So they were things that came up throughout ABA, but also with PBS, the PECS and TEACH. Now, all of them came up in my research into Irish schools. TEACH was particularly common, and as was PECS. PBS was also mentioned. And as I said, I was shocked at just how much ABA was actually mentioned. Moving along, and I think the biggest question that parents will ask, teachers will ask, is why do we need to get rid of ABA and related practices such as PBS, PECS and TEACH? So if you ask the autistic community about ABA and related practices, they will say that it is harmful. Now, as well as that, if you want to go higher than that, the UN have also said that it is inhumane. So that's even outside of the autistic community. I have read loads of articles about where people tell their stories of ABA, where they've gone through ABA as children. They have not found it helpful. I mean, if you're hearing from the people that supposedly should benefit from this, and they're saying they didn't benefit, that they found it harmful, then that kind of tells you everything. But there is also no actual evidence to back up ABA and related practices that they are in any way helpful. Another thing is, what can we do? What can parents do to try and eliminate ABA? Because I do believe ABA needs to be banned, as well as all related practices. But of course, when it is so predominant in Irish schools and in the Irish education system, that's not so easy. The suggestions I have are, if you're a parent, question the school, question the teacher, find out what practices they use, ask them why they use these practices, even though we all know that they're harmful. Email the Minister for Education, raising your concerns. I just think the more people that raise their concerns and the more people that question it, the more people listen. Another thing is sharing articles, sharing videos, sharing posts, talking about ABA, because so many people don't know that ABA even exists. And so getting that out there, getting that conversation started, the more people hear about it, the more people talk about it, the more people see that it is dangerous, it is harmful to autistic children and adults, the more we have a chance of eliminating ABA and the related practices. Also, quite simply, I would say, if you are a parent of an autistic child, don't send them to a school that's predominantly ABA, that uses ABA at all. Consider your options. Look at different schools. I know that that's very simple for me to say, and it's not quite that easy, but do look at all your options when it comes to education, and particularly when it comes to therapies. There are so many things that can be done within a school that don't cost any money, that could make changes. You don't need to use ABA. Like, you just don't like. Just teach them. Teach them. Do you know what I mean? And ABA doesn't need to be used. I went through mainstream school. I didn't know I was autistic until my late teens, but I went through mainstream primary school, secondary school. I didn't experience ABA in school, outside of school, and I was still able to get through the education system. What I always say is that autistic children learn and play in an autistic way because they're autistic. And I think that this model of trying to somehow change them, trying to change their behaviours, trying to take their autistic traits away from them, it's not helpful. And as I said, there is no evidence backing it up. And as well as that, there is so much evidence saying that it is harmful. And I also think, and I've said this before, is that when it comes to anything to do with autistic people are the ones that have the experience in that area. Autistic people know better than anybody else what it's like to be autistic, what it's like to go to school, what it's like to learn. And they're the people that teachers, schools, ministers need to speak to and need to listen to. I think that's covered a lot of what I wanted to cover in this video. I probably ranted a little bit, but just to sort of go back over it all, what I really took from kind of researching the special schools is that ABA is very predominant, and ABA related practices are very predominant, even more so than I thought it would be. I was definitely surprised. As I said, there are things we can do. We can talk about it, keep the conversation going. Parents question things. Don't just take it as gospel because the teachers or the schools say it is, or because therapists say it is. So they're kind of the main things I took away from this. This is obviously a huge topic, ABA in Irish schools, the Irish education system. So this video is not just a one-part video. I am going to be doing the next part. I'm going to talk about more specifically visiting an autistic unit. Don't like that word, but anyway, I was able to visit one relatively local to me. I won't say names or anything like that, but I was able to visit one, and I am going to talk about that experience in the second part to ABA in Irish schools. I hope you have learned something from this. I hope that you have all seen how predominant ABA is in Irish schools. I hope you've seen that it's harmful. I hope you will go back and watch my other videos as well on ABA, because I feel you get more information there. So yeah, keep the conversation going. Feel free to share this video if you think it might help someone and might help to keep the conversation going. As always, feel free to comment below. We'll keep the conversation going. Obviously, keep all the comments respectful and nice. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you will join me for part 2 of this video, and I shall see you then, and thank you very, very much.